There we go. Good. All you're going to need for tonight's class is yourself. If you happen to have something like couch pillows or regular pillows nearby, a blanket or a folded towel would also probably be nice, but no worries if you don't. And again, if you have yoga blocks or something like yoga blocks handy, you can certainly have those close by too, but again, not needed. So we'll go ahead and head on over to our space. And we'll start off just in any kind of comfortable position. So what that might look like for you might be different from what it looks like for me. So if you would like to stay sitting up, you can find a comfortable seat. If you prefer to be a little bit reclined, then you can stack some pillows behind you. Get creative. Maybe you fold a blanket so it supports your head. Just something you don't have to think about. Legs can be crossed or extended. Your arms can be at your sides or resting on your belly. And for the first few breaths of each pose, I will join you in that shape. But if you happen to look up and notice that I'm sitting up, don't feel like you have to join me. I'll guide you into each shape, and then I'll sit up, and then I'll join you for the transition to the next shape. So for now, just find whatever that comfortable shape is for you. Allow your breath to settle and your body to settle. And as we do those two things, notice if the mind joins the party. Or is the mind still quite busy? And if we could encourage the breath, the body, and the mind to join each other in relaxation, what might that look like for you? If you notice that the position you have taken with your body could be in any way more comfortable, more restful for you, then go ahead and make those adjustments. And if you feel pretty happy with where you are, imagine what might make you feel just 5% more relaxed, as if you were melting into the surface beneath you. And then bring your attention to your breath. And without really changing anything about it, just start to notice. Notice where in your body it feels like it goes. What the rhythm and the quality of it feels like. And then what might it be like to conscientiously smooth that breath out? Maybe take it a little deeper down into the belly. And perhaps each exhale becomes a little more complete. Oscillating between those two sensations of fullness and spaciousness. And just take these next few moments to decide What is it that you need out of this practice tonight? Why did you show up? And then make a conscious effort to take what it is that you need. Take a deep breath in. Open mouth, sigh it out. Twice more. In. Let it go. Biggest breath yet today. All the way in. And fully let go. If you're already reclined, stay there. If you're sitting up in a seated position, then find a way to recline, whether that is flat on the ground or with pillows stacked underneath your shoulders or head. And then bend your knees, placing the soles of your feet on the mat about hips width or maybe just a little wider than your hips. Arms can either rest on the belly or at your sides. Feel free to keep your eyes closed and just allow the knees to fall from side to side. You don't have to move at any particular pace. And if it feels like you want to pause with the knees in one direction for a couple rounds of breath, then you're certainly invited to try that. And think about what it means to you to restore your body, to restore your mind. During this class, we'll be moving very little and very slowly. I encourage you in each shape that we take to only feel, I would say at most 50% of the normal amount of stretch sensation or strength sensation that you would normally put forth in that posture. And if your knees are swaying side to side still, the next time they're over to the left, let them rest there. Adjust your hips and shoulders as you need to feel comfortable. Place your hands on your belly and feel the rise and fall of the abdomen with your breath. Deeply connect to the sensation of your palms pressing into your core. If you'd like, you can take your gaze in the direction of your knees for a gentle range of motion stretch between the right shoulder and the right side of the neck. And then if you'd like to explore turning the head in the other direction, you can try that. Staying deeply connected to that rise and fall of the belly. Then bring the knees back through center, let them fall over to the right, keeping the gaze to the right to start. And see with each breath, with the hands resting on the belly, how high and how low your hands can go. Breathe deep down into your abdomen. But if that feels like stress or strain, then just take a natural depth to your breath. If you'd like to take the gaze in the opposite direction, you're invited to do so now. Then bring your knees back through the center. Place the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to fall out wide. If you have pillows under your shoulders or head, but you would prefer for them to support the outsides of your knees, you can definitely make those adjustments. Just do what makes sense for your body today. Let go of any expectation about what any of this should look like. And then place the hands back on the belly, or one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. And with your next breath in, take a deep breath just into the upper chest. See if you can encircle your heart with your breath, breathing in front of, behind, and to the left and right sides of where your heart is in your chest. And then as you let that breath go, let your rib cage and shoulder blades sink down into the mat beneath you. And you can repeat that 1 or 2 more times if you feel like there's a little bit more to let go of there. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw or the corners of your eyes. And then we'll take those same deep and encircling breaths further down into the belly and into the pelvis. So with your next breath in, encircle your abdominal and pelvic organs with your breath. Feel your low back pressing into the floor just as much as your belly rises up. And then exhale, sinking down into the floor. Repeating that as needed. Even feel the back of your head, the hips and the feet sinking down, as if that border in between you and what's beneath you starts to blur a little bit. Take one more deep breath here. And fully let it go. And then hug both knees in towards your chest. They don't have to come in too tight. You can either grab for the backs of the thighs, the knees, or the shins. If you have pillows in your way, you can scoot them out to the side. And just take a gentle rock. And if it feels nice to continue swaying from side to side, you can stick with that, or take some circles with the knees. Maybe 3 or 4 times in one direction. And then change directions. And then keeping the right knee gathered in, extend your left leg long and allow it to rest on the floor. With your inhale, allow that right knee to back away from you. And with your exhale, draw it in just a little closer, as if it were going to eventually touch your armpit rather than coming straight into your chest. So more towards the outside of your ribcage. Feeling the top of the right thigh pressing into the right side of the abdomen. Stimulating our rest and digest. Helping us to restore the body on a cellular level. And then with your left hand, you can draw the right leg across to the left, coming into a twist. And this doesn't have to be the deepest twist you've ever done. And if you'd like to support your leg with a pillow or two, so that you feel like you can really rest in this shape. This class is less about how deeply you stretch and more about how relaxed you feel in each shape. So give yourself even more support than you might think you want. You can explore the gaze to the left or right, just depending on how it feels for your neck. Notice if there's any way you could allow the belly to relax a little bit more. And that might mean taking one of those big encircling breaths, or just letting go of something that you don't need. Expanding the right side of the rib cage with every inhale. Melting more deeply into the ground with every exhale. And start to roll back onto your back, hugging that right knee in towards the chest once more. Rearrange your hips and shoulders underneath you. And then while you're flat on your back with your right knee bent in towards your chest, allow that right knee to fall slightly open to the right so that you're just opening your hip. And then close. Opening with your inhale. And close with the exhale. One more time. And hugging that right knee back in towards the chest. And then bend your left leg, placing the sole of the foot on the floor. We'll hook the right ankle over the left knee, making a figure 4 shape with the legs. You can choose your own adventure with this shape. If you're pretty happy just resting here, exploring this shape of the pelvis, you can definitely stay here. Or with the left foot still on the mat, you can just gently rock this shape from side to side. If you'd prefer to hug that shape closer towards you, just make it a gentle stretch for that right glute or right outer hip. Again, no more than 50% of the regular amount of stretch sensation that you might encounter in this shape. And you decide, does taking motion serve you, or does being still serve you? And if you've decided to take any movements in this shape, start to even them out. And then we'll place both soles of the feet on the floor with the knees bent. And without doing much else, we're just going to tilt the pelvis under so that the low back flattens into the mat. And then tilt the pelvis forward so that you have a lot of space in between your low back and the mat. Just back and forth a couple times, almost like a little miniature cat-cow while we're here flat on our back. And if you'd like to incorporate the breath with this movement, we'll inhale as there becomes more space in between your low back and the mat, and exhale as you flatten that space out. Just tilting the pelvis back and forth. And then find some place in between those two shapes that feels natural and restful. And just pause there for a couple breaths. And then we'll extend the right leg long and hug the left knee in towards the chest. Again, more towards the outside of the rib cage, knee towards the armpit. And we'll inhale as that leg backs away, and exhale, draw it just a little bit closer. Imagining you're moving in slow motion or you're moving through water. Letting each movement feel like a gliding, like a mini moving meditation. Finding some way to be fully entrenched in what it is that you're doing right now, what it is that you're feeling right now. Not lingering on the past or predicting the future. And then with your right hand, draw that left knee across your body towards the right, coming into your twist in the other direction. Propping up that left leg with some support. And finding a very relaxed version of your supine twist. And being aware, what are those places in your body where you normally hold tension? For everybody, it might be a little different. Maybe it's the belly, the rib cage, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the face, even the hands or feet. And being more aware of those areas, can you use your exhales to let go of just 5% of that gripping? We may not be able to completely let it go. But acknowledging that it's there and that maybe it doesn't have quite as much a hold on us as it thinks it does. Maybe that's enough just to be a little bit more free from it. Sometimes those things aren't even necessarily physical. Maybe it's a tendency of the mind. Is there something that continuously draws your attention? Something that you always find yourself thinking about? And can we break those tendencies? In the body, we call those postural tendencies. So contemplating what's the posture of your mind. Is it supportive to your overall structure? Or is it some maladaptive way of coping with some kind of a stress? The body and mind are very good at that. But when we allow ourselves the space to acknowledge it, to become less attached to it, we can start to chip away at that grip. One more deep breath down into the belly here. Then draw that left knee back towards the center, rearranging your hips and shoulders so that you're once again lying flat on your back with your left knee drawn in close to you. And then we'll bend the right leg and hook the left ankle, making that figure 4. And taking whatever variation of this shape on this side that you prefer. Noticing the asymmetry in the pelvis. And if you've chosen movement in this shape on this side, start to even those movements out. Let the right foot come back down, hug the left knee in towards the outside of your chest once more, slide that right leg long, and then with an inhale, we'll let the left leg open out to the side, and exhale, draw it back towards the center. And twice more on your own. And then hugging both knees back in gently. You can choose either to rock and roll up to a seat or roll over to one side and press on up. And we'll take all 4s. I encourage you to put some extra padding underneath your knees, whether you have maybe a blanket or a towel nearby. And we'll come into our tabletop shape. Tops of the feet relax down into the mat behind you, the shoulders stacking over the wrists and the hips over the knees, with the knees separated to your hips width distance. And staring down at the space in between your hands, feel the length of the crown of your head pulling forward and your tailbone pulling back, while the low belly draws gently in and up, but still leaves plenty of room for you to be able to breathe easily. And then with your next inhale, coming into cow pose, lifting the gaze, lifting the tail, and allowing the belly to soften towards the earth as the back body contracts gently. Then exhale, hug the belly in and up. Tuck the chin, tuck the tail, feel the shoulder blades separate as your back body expands. Moving between those 2 shapes at your own rhythm of breath. Paying special attention to the sensations of the shoulder blades squeezing together and sliding apart, and the tilt of the pelvis, the sitting bones splaying out and back, and then tucking together and under. And then the next time that you're in cow pose, we'll pause there. Take your breath in And then exhale, round up into cat, and at the same time, sit back into child's pose. Inhale, coming back forward to cow. Exhale, rounding and pressing back. Moving at your own pace now. Just like moving through water. There's nothing else to do. There's nowhere else to be. And the next time that you're back in child's pose, we'll pause there. If it feels better to you to have some kind of height underneath your forehead, like a pillow or a block, you're definitely invited to try that. Feel your back body expand here with every breath. All the way from the space between the shoulder blades down into your tailbone. Notice if there's a way that your body might settle into this shape just a little bit more. Could you relax your arms more? Could your hips or feet relax more? Even the rib cage or hips. What about the jaw or the eyebrows? And taking one more deep breath here. And shift back up to your table pose. Move any props that you've gathered up out of your way. And we'll add on to that short little sequence that we just did. So we'll inhale to cow. Exhale, round up into cat and coming back to child's pose. Inhale to cow and tuck your toes under. And then exhale, send the hips up and back to a bent knee down dog. Inhale, rock back forward to cow pose. Untuck the toes. Exhale, up and back, cat through child's. Inhale to cow, tuck your toes under. Exhale, hips up and back, bent knee down dog. So with every inhale, you're in cow pose. Your exhales will alternate between child's pose and a bent knee down dog. Move at your own pace. Feel free to pause for a breath or two in any of these shapes if that calls to you. Imagining this is the slowed down version of your life. Sometimes we wonder if there is such a thing. And wherever you are in this sequence, the next time you come back to all fours, we'll come to a neutral tabletop shape. Just allow your body to move intuitively in any way that it feels like it needs to. And that may not even look like a tabletop shape. You may move in such a way that looks something very different. Just listen to what your body needs. And maybe it needs to be still. And then slowly start to come back towards stillness in your table pose. Inhale, open your right arm up and open to the right. And exhale, we'll thread the needle and rest down. You can slide that left hand forward or walk it out to the left or keep it right where it is. Let your sitting bones press up and apart from one another. And let your upper body relax. And then press your left hand down back underneath your shoulder. Swing that right arm open and up once more. And let it hang open. Let gravity let it pull back so that we open up in the chest. And then unwind, coming back to all fours. Take a pause here once more, feeling the length from the crown of the head to the sacrum. Low belly gently pulls in and up. And then with an inhale, swing that left arm open and up. And exhale, thread the needle and relax on down. And place your right palm back underneath your right shoulder. Press into the floor and swing the left arm open and up. And let gravity pull it towards the right. And then unwind. We'll come on down to our bellies. If you'd like to have some padding underneath your hips. And by all means, go ahead. We'll come into Sphinx pose. So pressing the forearms down into the mat. Make sure you have lots of length so that your elbows are either directly underneath your shoulder or just a little bit in front of it, as opposed to being way back here so that the chest is pressing down into the floor. We want almost none of your rib cage on the front of your body pressing into the floor. Then press the forearms and the palms energetically down and slightly back, as if you were trying to slide your elbows back towards your hips. Let the chin be parallel with the floor and the gaze softly forward. Feel the collarbones broadening. And then take your gaze over your left shoulder, feeling the stretch in the right side of the neck. Let your jaw relax. See if you can relax the glutes and the backs of your legs and your feet. And take the gaze back through center and then over the right shoulder. And then gaze back through center. And then stack your palms with your elbows out wide, either to rest your chin down on the backs of your hands or your forehead. Let your entire back body relax while your front body sinks down into the floor. Feel the back of your neck release. It's much more difficult to breathe into the front space of the body here. So notice the ways in which the sides of your waist and the sides of your rib cage can expand, your low back and the space between your shoulder blades. Send that breath into the sides and the backs of your lungs. Feel free to stay here. Or if you'd like to add a little bit of movement, you can just gently sway the hips from side to side. Or bend your knees so that your heels come closer to your glutes. And let your lower legs windshield wiper left to right. And then let your legs come back down to rest. We'll extend our arms forward. And then we'll roll onto our right side. And you can choose either to rest your head down on your right bicep or prop your head up with your hand. You'll take your bottom leg, your right leg, and bend it so that you have a little kickstand. Then we'll just take a gentle quad stretch with the left leg. Again, no more than 50% of a normal stretch sensation that you would feel in a quad stretch. We want to restore. Breathing deep down into the belly, as if you could take a deep breath into the front of your left hip. And then you can let go of the left ankle, extend both legs behind you, and just gently roll to the other side, rolling onto your left side. And taking a quad stretch on the right leg. And you can let the right ankle go. Coming back to the belly. And slide the hands back underneath the shoulders and press back up to your table pose. And then one more time back into child's, sending the knees wide, toes together. If you'd like to rock the head from side to side, massaging in between the eyebrows, feel free to explore that. And then pressing back up to table, we'll come to a seat. And then I invite you to get set up for your Shavasana in any way that would be super comfortable to you. So if you'd like to take pillows and give yourself a little incline, or lie flat on your back with the soles of the feet together, knees out wide with padding underneath the knees. You can cover up with a blanket. Just take these next few minutes to decide what that looks like for you. And I'll join you in this shape for the first few moments, and then I'll sit up, but you please stay still right where you are. And wherever you land, please know that you're not glued to that shape. If you need to move or shift in any way to make yourself more comfortable, you can definitely do that at any time. And we'll just enjoy a few more minutes of silence here together. When it is time to be guided out, I will let you know. So please just let go. Close your eyes, fill up with breath. And then set it down. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. And if you're ready to be guided out, start to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. You can invite gentle, simple movements back into the fingers and toes. Maybe a gentle sway from side to side. Or stretch the arms up overhead, reaching from fingertips to toe tips. Whenever you feel ready, rolling over to one side, pausing for a breath or two, or longer if you need. Whenever you're ready, coming up to a comfortable seat, perhaps with a pillow or blanket nestled underneath your sitting bones. Keeping the gaze soft or the eyes closed. Resting the backs of the hands on the thighs or knees with the palms facing up. As if you were ready to receive something. Whatever it is that you need to receive, imagine possessing it in your hands. Whether it's something tangible or just an idea. Allow an overwhelming sense of gratitude for that thing to fill your heart. And holding that object or that idea equally in both palms, start to bring them together in front of your heart, pressing your palms together. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Namaste. I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.